right, so in today's video, we're going to be covering a nice little beginner guide for everything inside of Anime Expeditions. So obviously this game did kind of just drop to the public a bit ago. Now I've been playing it a bit and I have, a good concept of obviously, everything in regards to currencies and all of that, as I do play, tower defense games like this a lot. So we're going to be covering everything I've been doing for progression, what I've been talking to some other very good progressed players in this game, alongside all of my recommendations when you're first starting out. So firstly, and if you're wanting to enter into my battle pass or game pass giveaway, all you got to do is comment your username down below, leave a like, subscribe, and go ahead and scroll on down on this video on mobile and hype this video, and that'll go ahead and enter you into my battle pass and game pass giveaway. We're going to be looking at what is very much required, which is going to be your units. So there are different types of units you can look at, and they all have different, essentially this is like their traits or whatever the game calls it, usually their traits. So for example, the Stone Alchemist is a physical type and he generates credits, as you can see right here. So the currency right here, so this will allow you to place this unit and generate revenue or currency and inside of the raids, whatever, passively. So this obviously ensures that you can make a lot of money. So what we're going to be focusing on is your starter build. Now when it comes to getting a lot of gems, first off, when you're trying to summon and just get money flowing, I would recommend two things. So number one is you want to make sure that you have a few separate types. So this one is a storm and magic, this one is magic, and this one is physical. So in certain raid types, there are benefits to different types of characters with their traits. So what I would recommend doing is waiting for, essentially you can check into the banners. So you want to, firstly, I would recommend checking the standard banner and the mini banner, which usually the mini banner isn't too much of a recommendation because there's only one mythic in it as instead of three. So you have lower chances of getting this, but this is really good for getting good legendaries, as if you want to look at the rates, there is a higher chance for mythic, I believe, or roughly the same than doing this one. Now, the only benefit to this is obviously there's three and you can get ones on the banner more commonly. Now, the second thing is going to be what you should do to progress quickly. So firstly, you obviously have to utilize AFKing. Now, we're going to be using a very popular tool, in my opinion, which is going to be called the Exopanda Recorder. Now, this will essentially allow us to record, placing units and upgrading them and all of that and replay those. And this works on both Windows and Mac, and soon to be also working on Linux. So if you play on any of those platforms that don't have, say, a tiny task substitute, you can actually use this tool. Now to get this, I will leave a link into the description that will link you over to the official website for this, which is going to be exopanda.com. Now, when you're here, you're going to go on to other tools and you can simply download the Exopanda Recorder right here. Now, if you want to download it for Mac or for Windows, you can go ahead and do that. Obviously, they are going to support Linux soon as well if you're a Linux player. Now, this is essentially probably going to be the best thing. I will be dropping a new video outside of this one soon with my AFK stats and showing you how to properly AFK. But first thing we're going to be looking at is the just in general progression. So firstly, if you're trying to progress your units quickly, what you need to do is obviously AFK and level them up. Now, to level them up, obviously, like I said, you want to make sure you have a good lineup that includes strong units, but a bit of variety when it comes to their like attack type. So obviously this is storm and magic. This one's magic and this one doesn't do anything. It's physical, but I would recommend getting units that have different attack types just so you can utilize these different abilities whenever you're actually in raids. Because like I was saying, certain ones affect certain units in certain ways. So instead of just, getting your highest rarities and slapping them together, you should try to target at least one of each different type. Now, what we're also going to look at is if you come over to the summon and to the right. So if you have a lot of gold, you don't really know what to spend it on, you can either save it for later things like evolutions, or you can come into either the event shop, which uses the event currency, or my personal favorite, you can go into the gold shop. So the gold shop will allow you to buy cosmetics and things with gold. So you can buy stat locks, stat rerolls, equipment locks, equipment rerolls, the spirit or the sprite, my bad. You can also buy trait crystals, and then a bunch of things you can use for feeding your troops for XP. So I'll go ahead and buy a few of these just to show you. I don't have much gold left because I just spent a lot of it. But if you click onto your unit and then click this button right here, I'm going to go ahead and hide this real quick just so we can click. So if you click this upgrade unit button right here, you can feed them these things. And depending on the, obviously the rarer ones or whatever, you can get more XP out of them. I would personally really only recommend putting these on your attack types. This one, right, this will generate the same amount of currency no matter its levels. So upgrading it doesn't really matter too much. But these ones, obviously they do get damage increase, faster cooldowns, and better just stats in general the more you upgrade them. So you do want to max these. And sometimes when it comes to evolutions and evolving them and all that, you will need to have them at a certain level in order to do it. So that is once again another thing you should look out for. Now, the next thing is going to be what we're going to be looking at is the, my opinion, necessary thing. So we're going to go over to areas and we're going to go on over to traits. Now, one very important thing is that you are making sure ensure that all of your things are properly upgraded. Now, as you play, you'll probably start getting trait crystals and things like that. So there are a few things you can get. So you can get things like these crafts where you get a bunch of these items. Like once I said these things, earlier when I showed you, you can get these sprites just from buying them with gold. So you do want to make sure you farm that, which I'll be dropping a video on how to farm gold. But the next thing is you want to make sure that their traits you are properly upgrading because, for example, him, right? You go to the index, there's actually some traits that will allow them to make more money. So for example, if you get the 2% investor, this will increase money by 25%. And this unit's entire existence is for generating you revenue fast when you first start raids. And so he makes 550 as a base. And if you can upgrade this by 25%, you'll make a lot more, meaning you can make more money, max your units, and just get a lot more progress quicker inside of raids. Now, the next thing is Ascension. So this requires you'll select the unit you want, and then you need these resources and duplicates of that one unit in order to upgrade it. And when you do, you're going to get this Ascension on it, which will multiply its max damage. So like you can see, if I want to get this elf mage to be a 1-star elf mage, I need 3 extra of this unit and 2 sprites. Now, like I was saying, you can buy these with gold, but then otherly, outside of that, you can use stat rerolls. So for example, if I want, see if I can get better stats on this one, I only have 1 reroll. We got a C minus B and minus B, which overall isn't too bad because I think it just had C pluses, but you can also do stat transfers. So this is where a lot of just in general good things you can do. So you can get a unit with pretty good stats. For example, if I have I'll call them sacrifice units. So if I have a sacrifice unit, like let's say this water princess, right? Some unit that has like really good stats, I can take that unit and actually put it in here and then into the stat transfer. Like for example, I'm obviously can only select this one because it's the only good one. You can select which stats you want to transfer over to it and then transfer those stats over to the primary unit you're wanting to upgrade. Like if you have a certain damage build you're running, you can easily do that, or if you're doing infinite mode. But the next thing is obviously one of the last ones, which is overall just going to be your quests and everything. So if you go over to events, there's usually always when you're first starting things you can claim inside of the events. Like for example, when you first start, you get a ton of stuff super fast just from all of these different ones, but you can also go ahead and farm and play these ones. So if I want to do the Master of True Love, you can go to the event stages and actually play through these. Obviously they have certain set difficulties, like this is a difficulty of 3. And then if you go on over to the normal playthrough, these ones really only have like basic difficulty. Now, what I will also recommend is you go through and beat everything on normal difficulty and then come back and beat it all on high difficulty. This will just ensure that you can, they're refreshing it. This will just ensure that you can just benefit everything, because once you fully beat all of the hard stages, you do get benefits out of beating them, like quests once again. And then you can also benefit from whenever you beat them on these, if you can get them to 3-star. So you get higher 3 stars from doing these certain things. So delete or debuff at least 50 enemies. So that's the only one I don't have left. And now to get debuffs from that is essentially you're going to go back out units. So certain units can do debuffs. I believe the Ice Queen can freeze them, which is a debuff like this. Yeah, freezes targets, preventing movement and actions for 2 seconds. So that is a debuff. So if you want to debuff them, that's what that is. So you can overall just farm these. Now there's also competitive. So you can, I believe, fight other people, or these are more like ranked. And there's sandbox where you can do customizations. And then also you just have to level up to get these events, but there's also challenges. So you want to make sure you do your daily challenges. So regular challenges. So these are specific game modes on specific acts on certain difficulties. And if you complete them, you get all of these rewards. For example, weekly challenges are usually the hardest. So this is the Fairy King Forest Act 4. If you beat it, you get all of these rewards. For example, daily challenges, and then regular challenges. You have a few you can pick from. You can only do these 10 times and they reset bi-daily, I believe. And then the same goes for the dailies. These reset daily, and then these ones reset weekly. But overall, the best thing you can do is to just go ahead and play manually through the just normal play game modes. I would recommend playing through all of the normal ones, just so you can eventually, get to the last one and then farm infinite for the rewards you can get from that. And then try to max all your units, get the max amount of equipable units. And then after you've done that, you can then use the recorder tool, like I mentioned earlier, to sit and farm those things. So you can farm resources, you can farm certain modes, especially in hardcore modes. Whenever you're trying to farm, say, one resource for crafting, you can easily sit and AFK that and farm it. But for the most part, that's going to go ahead and be it for this video. If you do want to see more content like this, make sure to leave a like and comment down below, but I will see you on the next